For these experiments, I was able to use a large static electricity producer, the Van de Graaff generator. It can make really big sparks, up to 500,000 volts long. In this setup, the static electricity will build up and should go to the closest metal, the bulb, which will carry the electricity and ground out. But it doesn't work. So I try to create a real circuit by hooking up the bulb to the machine. As you can see, there's a small amount of electricity starting up the light. So I try to go closer to the sphere. I also turn out the light so I can see the light bulb better. By holding it right next to the sphere, I can get a full light. You can see small sparks. Can static electricity create a circuit? Confirmed, but impractical. Well, we did create a circuit and took so much electricity to create that circuit that it really doesn't seem as efficient as just using electricity from a power plant. I tried to burn the tissue paper by putting it between the arc and hoping a static spark would ignite the paper. However, this doesn't work. I tried to do it with cotton. I tried the cotton, but it doesn't burn either. Interestingly, the fibers of the cotton are being pulled apart by the static force. The fibers are attracted by the force and keep jumping across the generator. However, the cotton isn't igniting. Maybe some alcohol will. The alcohol sprayed on the tissue paper isn't causing the paper to burn. The same goes to the cotton. Our problem is that the sparks travel the easiest path, which is away from the paper. But what it takes for electricity to start a fire. There are 2 screws and a little gap. The spark is going to jump across that gap. That will ignite the alcohol. That caused fire. You saw the spark and you saw the fire. This spark is hotter than the generator, but it shows sparks can cause fires. That's classic static electricity, but this is a generator. One theory is that the Hindenburg, that big blimp, had static electricity ignited the hydrogen and caused it to burn. Can static electricity create a fire? Well, we found it was busted, but there have been actual cases where static electricity has caused things to, blow up and burn and stuff. Gasoline, oils, all that really, really flammable stuff have reports on igniting from electricity. So I'm gonna call it busted because even with 500,000 volts, we couldn't get something really simple, really household use, like cotton or tissue paper. No household item that is flammable will ignite from static electricity.